Greetings and welcome, adventurers. I am your Dungeon Master, Michael Gray, and you are at Newdeath Gaming. Today we will be playing a special game called Path of Adventure. The developer, Jordan Key, is a friend and a wonderful developer. He solo worked this project from the bottom up, and it is a fantastically blind, accessible, visually impaired, accessible game for all. It is a wonderful RPG dungeon crawler. It's got the gacha, it's got the stats, it's got the strategic elements to it, it's got that Final Fantasy Tactics element to it, it's got that text adventure based kind of like aptitude that you need, but it's also got that use your common sense or you're going to get killed kind of thing. But it's also got more. It's got managing your resources, it's got shopkeeper stuff, it's got inventory management, it's got potions and mushrooms and magic spells and increases in magic spell cost. It has an enormous variety of weapons with durability, and you're going to have to manage your durability or you're going to die. The final bosses are also varied. There's one of three: a dragon, a hydra, or I think I said that, a giant, a hydra, or a dragon. And there are bosses that are called mini bosses that are going to appear in 3 parts of the world. And the last mini boss is basically a hard boss. It's the wizard, and he is going to be dropping all kinds of really heavy duty spells on you, and you're going to have to be very prepared. You can find this game, including a movie I did for this, which is an 8-part, roughly 15 to 20 minutes each, episodes with full sound effects and voiceover and acting. You can find that link in the description. You can find the link for just the basic tutorial. You can also find a link to my special episodes where I beat this game on one try without purchasing the very special resurrections or redos. Just as a heads up, you can purchase packages that will give you redos in case you do die to a gacha. You can also buy special things that will give you resurrections. They're just 99 cents, and these things really go a long way to help the developer create new games. You definitely, best practices, want to help developers who are making blind accessible, visually impaired accessible games. I really support Jordan Key. He is a fantastic person and an awesome developer. Now, today we're going to be doing a special challenge, and today's challenge is going to be the Thief. We are not going to try to beat the game on Thief because I've already done that on one try. My high scores are going to be shown first, but then we are going to try to make the most money possible with the Thief. It's going to be extremely difficult because the Thief is one of the weakest characters. The only advantage that the Thief has is that they gather money, and the money begins to pile up each day. There is no other advantage. You have no special stats, you have no special equipment, but you do have one artifact. You have the lock-picking knife, and that is it. You can always unlock things, and you have to be extremely judicious with the use of that lock-picking knife. You have to monitor its use so you don't wear it out too quickly, and you have to really be smart about how much money you spend. We're going to die many times, so you're going to be sitting through me restarting and trying to complete this. The whole point of this mission is we're going to beat the Thief with the most money possible. And this is going to be called the Thief Challenge. So if you'd like to do this, go ahead and download Path of Adventure by Jordan Key. You'll find the link in the description below. And don't forget to use your magical ability to pummel that like button, and also use your lock-picking knife or your flame sword to destroy the subscribe, and use your magical abilities to send a telepathic message to YouTube and share this with anyone else you think might love these videos. Those are much appreciated. It helps the YouTube algorithm know that my videos are worthy of your attention, and letting people know in the blind community that I am doing videos that are blind accessible, that don't have graphical elements, and that I describe everything is a great thing to do. It makes sure that people who really love this content come here. And I thank you, love you very much for that. Okay, and before we get started, I'd like to thank Nature Space for the wonderful ambience in the background. Today we're playing a little nighttime music. I thought that'd go really well with our video today. So thank you, Nature Space. Live, work, play, study, sleep, anything you need to do. My favorite app, Nature Space, with the beautiful sounds. Anytime you need great ambience, Nature Space is the best. They just added a new track called July 4th. It is fabulous. I'm listening to it right now. It really makes me feel like I'm outside. I basically use Nature Space to survive the entire COVID-19 outbreak. It is beautiful. Sweetie Belle loves Nature Space. I let her hear some of the tracks. Many of my subscribers have said that Nature Space is beautiful and have picked it up. I would advise you to buy the entire package. It's a much better deal to buy the entire package. You get everything that comes out in the future. I am just flabbergasted by how beautiful the things that come out from Nature Space are. It is gorgeous, and I fully support the developers. It's blind accessible, visually impaired accessible. Everyone will love it. Everyone accessible. All right, now let's move on to start our thief. But first, let's hear my scores for each one of my Path of Adventure characters. There is no sounded Path of Adventure, so any sound effects you hear are from the wonderful iMovie on my iOS 8S. Or 8 Plus. What am I using again? All right.
Take the tutorial and learn how to play.
All right. Let's go through what my scores are. And let's make sure I turn down my speaking rate and make sure I'm on headings.
Volume. Speaking rate. 55%.
55%.
Text select lines, words, characters, edit, form control, links, headings.
Headings is the best setting for your rotor for Path of Adventure because you can move back and forth rather easily. You're going to hear voiceover a whole lot, so if voiceover irritates you, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do about it. That's how I play, and it's best practices for me in my videos. I'm not ashamed of voiceover, talking over anything. It does what it needs to do, and it tells me what I need to know.
Rogue, easy. Heading level 2.
Okay, let's hear all the scores for the Rogue.
Wear the Ring of Life and heal every day.
I love the Rogue. It's super easy. This is your starter class, and you're going to want to play this a lot so you get really comfortable with the game.
Finished. High score, 495.
Yeah, that's my score, 495. I did that on one try. Every one of the characters, every one of the classes, I beat them on one try. No redos, no resurrections for 99 cents.
Treasure. Clay. Button. Warrior. Normal. Heading level 2.
Warrior's extremely powerful. This is one of the easy classes to beat because of the Ring of Brawn.
Wear the Ring of Brawn and deal mighty blows. Finished. High score, 184.
I don't know why my score is so low on the Warrior. It should be rather easy.
Treasure. Clay. Button. Assassin. Quite hard.
Oh,
Heading
I
level
love
2.
Assassin because you always go first. Ring of Shadows, if I'm not mistaken.
Wear the Ring of Stealth and attack
Oh,
from the
Ring of
shadows.
Stealth. Okay.
Finished. High score, 100.
That's my high score. Now, I just got that high score up from 81, so that's a 19-point difference in the plus column. I really love the Assassin, and it's such a quick playthrough.
Treasure. Clay. Button. Mage. Hard.
The
Heading
Mage
level
is
2.
hard. It doesn't matter that it's easy. If you get the right things, the Mage could decimate the enemy. But because you are using magic, and magic costs you your loot, you're going to have naturally a lower score. Now, I like if there were more categories. If Jordan ever does a new update to this game, I'd like more than just treasure to be the measure by my high score. How about the number of creatures that I've killed? How about how long it took me to beat the game? I think those are better criteria because not every class can just wipe the game out quickly.
Wear the Ring of Mana and cast. Finished. High score. Treasure. Clay. Button. Thief. Very hard.
Now,
Heading
we're
level
getting
2.
to the class that we're going to play. I'm going to let you hear the high score, and then we're going to check out one more high score, and then we're going to start.
Wear the Ring of Wealth and gain a fortune. Finished. High score, 387.
Okay, I have to be honest. That 387 is from a continue. I did pay 99 cents, but I was not going to miss the opportunity for a ludicrously good high score. Now, mind you, there is no way to count whether or not these high scores are from a single playthrough or from multiple playthroughs. It doesn't really matter. It's not a big deal. I would love, because there's the part of me that wants to know how I did it because I'm a perfectionist. I really want to know if it was a one playthrough or was it a multiple playthrough. I like to have that notated, but it's not necessary.
Treasure.
So that's a really high score. We're going to try to get a really high score when we do the thief challenge today.
Play. Button. Ring bearer. Ridiculous.
The
Heading level
ring
2.
bearer is ridiculous, but it's not that hard. Once you understand the principle on how to play the ring bearer, they are super easy to play. You do have to monitor your health, and you got to be careful. Every monster is souped up to the max on ring bearer. You had got to get your medieval game together if you're going to play the ring bearer, so be careful.
Wear the ring of death and suffer the burden.
Yeah, it is. The ring of death is no joke.
Finished. High score. 30.
Okay, you're not going to get a very high score in the ring bearer unless you continue. I do not continue on the ring bearer because it isn't worth it. I've beaten it. There's nothing else beyond it. I've been begging Jordan to give us an update because I think he could make an even harder class. Maybe a class that has even more disadvantages. Like, how about making a ring bearer that always goes second in combat? Oh, that would be so brutal. An anti-assassin. Oh, that would be so broken. And I was also thinking, how about some hero classes, Jordan? Like, let's combine the assassin with the mage. You always go first, and you have the ring of magic. Oh, that would be... I would wipe this game so hard. Oh, it would be cool. Of course, you'd only get those classes after buying like an update. Like Jordan, you could easily make it like $3 or something like that, and we could combine classes. I would so buy that. I wouldn't even think twice, and I would totally play test that for you. Anything. I mean, hero classes would be a great thing. Multi-classing would be a great thing, and making really hard multi-classes that have all the negative effects. Like, how about a character that's not only poisoned, but poisoned from the effect of the ring of death, to a double poison to start off the game, and you can't remove it. Oh my god, that would be great. All right, I'm chit-chatting too long. Let's get started. Let's play the thief.
Wear the ring bearer. Play. Treasure. Finished. High score. 387.
All right, let's
treasure. Play.
Let's go ahead and get started.
Play.
All right, so the first thing you do is enter the path. We're going to die very easy because, okay, let me give you the parameters of how we're playing today. We're not playing to beat the game.
You are standing at the start of a path, before a small wooden sign. The words, though hardly readable, are legendary. Here be traps and treasures. Monsters and magic. You might be wondering what this is all about. In that case, you're in luck. You see, the thing with the path is, you simply have to follow it. Choices. Heading level 1.
Alright, and as I did mention before, this is a choice game. It is not an open world game. This is a choice game, a text-based game. There are no graphics. I won't be describing anything. I don't have any screen video playing. Also, my pronouns are he, him, in case anyone wants to know. Alright, so let's just dive into the path, because we're going to die a lot of times here.
Enter the path. Button.
Now, if we get a really good game going and we run out of time, I promise you we will come back tomorrow and continue until we die. The whole challenge here is to get literally the highest score possible. So you're going to hear me doing really, really bad things. Like, I'm going to be selling stuff I shouldn't sell. I'm going to be hoarding as much coins as possible because we're going for the highest score possible.
Enter the path. Button.
All right, let's go enter the path.
Lockpicking knife attack plus 3-4. Speed plus 1. Brand new.
All right. I usually have to swipe up to story to make sure we hear everything that's happened on this day.
Choices. Heading story. Heading level 1. Story. Heading level 1. The ring of wealth sparkles and you spit out a gem.
I'm going to let voiceover do most of the introduction. I'll reiterate anything that I think that maybe voiceover didn't announce correctly.
Progress plus 1. Treasure plus 1. All it takes is an inattentive passerby, or perhaps a few, and you've gained a key.
We got a key. That's good. That keeps a little bit less wear and tear on our lockpicking knife. Now remember, the thief always starts off with the lockpicking knife. The other 1 to 2 items could be a consumable, like a key. A key in my mind is a consumable because it's only a one-time use. So it doesn't really matter, really, because it's only one-time use. So to me, a key is basically like a potion. It just opens one door, and it's gone.
A. Lockpicking knife.
You always get the lockpicking knife, so you're going to want to take that. Now remember, you're not forced to take any of this stuff. If you really are just you know, a sadomasochist, you could probably just ignore everything and walk away. I don't know how you'd beat the game. I should do a challenge like that. The take nothing with you challenge. The pacifist challenge.
And rusty dagger.
Now, the rusty dagger is a little bit of a weak shield. There are certain weapons that do give you a bit of defense, so you can block attacks with them. Actually, the wording should be parry, because you're not truly blocking, so it's a damage mitigation. It's not a true block. Now, everything in this game is a mitigation as a shield, to be certain, but shields have a bit more defense, and there are some special shields we'll get into. Also, there are some win conditions. If we do manage to get the marble shield, the flame sword, the lockpicking knife, and the wizard staff, and a couple of spells like the love spell, those are win conditions. You are going to beat the game. You really have to be really, really foolish to lose the game. We're not attempting to beat the game. We've already done that. If you want to listen to my playthroughs of every single character, I've done several of them. I think I've done the rogue, the warrior, the assassin. I've never been able to, on camera, play through the ring bearer, thief, or wizard, I want to say. So I may one day go back and do those, but these are really long videos. If I was to do that, that's at least a 2-hour video, because you really have to be, you have to think, you have to be thoughtful, you have to be meticulous about what things you use and don't use, because it's really hard.
Period.
Jordan does not mess around, y'all. Let me tell you, Jordan does not mess around. This is not an easy game, so let me throw that out to you. If you want a challenge, Jordan believes in challenge, not let's give it to the person because it's easy. Let's make it fun. Too easy. No. I'm not into easy games. I love fun games, but if I want to play a fun game, this is a fun game, mind you, but I want to play a game that's fun and just ridiculously easy, I have games like that. I'm not trying to play an easy game. I'm trying to play a challenging game. And that's what this is about. This is a brain game. This is a game that makes you think, makes you consider, weigh your choices. Those are the games that I appreciate. Those are the games that stimulate me. All right, and stimulate my mind, you know?
Plus key.
All right, let's go ahead and grab everything that's dropped.
Choices. Take.
You have to click take.
You take
so
the
I
rusty
double
dagger.
take. I'm going to be doing my double taps really fast, so I'll be giving you just an overall view. Whenever a weapon drops, you have to take it. Whenever consumable drops, it gets automatically placed in your inventory. Artifacts, like weapons, you have to double tap to take them. Artifacts that are special trinkets, they get placed in your inventory automatically. Okay?
Plus rusty dagger.
All right. And it should confirm that you've gotten it. There is a small bug that occurs. I want to just throw that out to you. If it doesn't explain to you everything that happened on a screen, go back to story, double tap on story. The game will refresh the screen and you'll get to hear everything that you've done on that day. That's a little tiny bug that's kind of never quite been fixed. It doesn't stop you from playing it. It doesn't make this game inaccessible. This game is completely blind accessible. It's just that there's that little bug with hearing everything that happens on the screen. Sometimes the voiceover will skip over certain segments, and I think that's due to audio ducking, but that's a really easy thing to deal with. That isn't an accessibility issue.
Choices. Heading level 1. Follow the path. Button.
All right, of course we have to always
main.
click follow the path.
Follow the path. End. Main.
All right, now as a thief, every day we're going to get money. The more money you have as a thief, the more money you're going to get each day. The thief is all about survival. You are not trying to kill everything that comes your way. If you can avoid a fight and save money, great. If you can fight a fight and get easy money, great. But you got to be cautious. You don't have a lot of equipment and you don't have a lot of protection, and your stats are pathetic.
Follow the path. Button. Choices. Story. Heading. The ring of wealth sparkles and you sneeze gold dust.
All right, let's find out how much our daily money coming in is.
Progress +1. Treasure +1.
Okay, cool. So we're only getting 1 treasure so far. We're going to be getting that number way up there, so keep an eye on that number. Keep an ear out. That's our number right now. You heard that number? That's 1 treasure. That's going to be much bigger soon. Watch.
A most curious thing about adventuring is to find loot everywhere.
Oh, we love this one. Okay, so each day has different events. These are all random. There's a certain pattern to the mini boss's appearance. There's a certain pattern to the final boss and everything. It's basically progression point 1 all the way to progression point 50. 50 is the last day, and I'll also give you some hints on how to maximize your money. There are many special tricks about the last few days. I can teach you those tricks. I'll do that in future videos, depending on how long I can stand doing the Thief's Challenge, because the Thief's Challenge is ludicrously difficult.
Some treasure.
And please play along with me. If you want to listen to my videos, I'm going to try to keep the music and sound effects minimal so that you can play my video in the background while you play with me. YouTube Premium is great for this, because then that way you don't get commercials and you can exit out of YouTube and keep it playing, and then you can hear my video and we can compare and play together. And of course, drop a comment and tell me how far you've gotten on a thief. Let me know what your total treasure amount is, and let me know if I've been helpful. If you have any questions, also the comments are where you want to go.
I bet we'll find much more toys and candy before this journey is over.
Yeah, toys and candy are my favorite thing, Jordan.
Treasure plus 6.
All right, we got 6 treasure. Now, the amount you get on these treasure, just do nothing treasure things, look, you can get, and you'll hear like 7, 6. I think the random numbers is a D20, because I've gotten up to 17, 20. I've even gotten like 30 treasure on these random drops. Now, there is a variable that is placed into the game matrix where the higher you progress, you're more likely to get a slight increase in the amount of random treasure that is dropped in the road. But by the most part, I would say that you're going to hear anywhere from a D6 to about a D20 worth of treasure that's going to drop on these little roads. Now, as far as items are concerned, a couple of updates occurred. In the original game, it was a lot harder. Now, this game has a few refinements since there's been a few updates. The original game was very, very difficult, but you got a little bit more treasure because items would drop, but you'd also get an equal amount of treasure. Now, the treasure has been balanced with items, so you don't get maximum treasure and items. It's a very fair balance. It's fine. It's not going to greatly affect it because Jordan has balanced that out by fixing several bugs, and he made it so that you don't always get the full treasure amount when you pick up loose treasure just laying out in the world. Usually if a mushroom drops, and mushrooms have various effects, we'll go into that later. If a mushroom drops, and I have previous videos that you can check out to get all the info about that, mushrooms will lower your treasure amount substantially. Weapons will also lower your treasure amount substantially. You can pick up magic spells, you can get just about anything. That's going to reduce your treasure by a great amount. Now, if you get anything like equipment on these random treasure drops, I would say you're going to get a D4 worth of treasure. And that's fine, because the items that are dropping are at least worth a D10 to a D20 worth of treasure. Okay?
Choices. Heading. Follow the path.
All right, now that we've gotten everything.
Main.
Oh, by the way, treasure is automatically picked up for you. You don't have to worry about picking it up.
Choices. Follow the path. Button.
Let's go ahead and
main.
follow
Exclamation
the path.
mark. Monsters come in all shapes
All right,
and sizes.
this is the
But there's one thing
mandatory
they all
fight.
share: a burning love for treasure, and
You
they don't mind killing
always
for
have
it.
mandatory
While on the
fights,
path, you
but
can
you
avoid
can
battle by
jump-
throwing them
well,
some of your treasure.
actually,
On
mandatory
the
is
other
the
hand,
incorrect term.
defeat them and you can take theirs.
Okay, the game is always giving you tutorials, so don't worry about understanding. If I'm talking over voiceover, I apologize. The game's going to explain all these things. The tutorials in this game are absolutely fantastic. You'll get all the information you need. There are several tutorial NPCs, non-playable characters, that are throughout the game that explain all the dynamics. So we're not going to get into that. I've done previous videos on that. Check those out, please. I've done at least 20 or so videos on Path of Adventure, and they're really long videos. You can definitely get all the tutorials that you need and all the playthroughs. All right, let's go ahead and
Story. Heading level 1. The ring of wealth
Listen to
sparkles
that.
and you spit out a gem. Progress +1. Treasure +1.
all right, we're still getting a multiplier of just 1 treasure. We need to get a lot more treasure if we want our treasure multiplier to go up, because remember, the thief gets a certain amount of treasure each day. The more treasures a thief has, the more treasure they earn each day. So you want to hoard the treasure.
Oh no. Giant slug.
All right, giant slug, that's very bad news. I would usually tell you skip it, but you were also very early, and we do need to get an elixir of health. Elixir of healths are a combination cure-all and also a leveling up device. We're going to want to probably take out this first giant slug. This might be our first death because we have very little penetration in our weapons. And I'm only taking this giant slug on because we have a dagger. We have a rusted dagger that's going to be able to block some of the damage. But we're probably going to die here. But that's okay. We're not going to go to tutorial again mode with my. I'm going to just restart quickly and we'll start another thief.
Exclamation mark. Choices. Fight.
Let's go ahead and fight.
Escape treasure minus 16.
We can lose 16 treasure,
main.
but that's going to defeat the purpose.
Fight. Button.
Let's go ahead and fight.
Take hit defense 0. And main.
And as you can hear, he got to hit me first. That's really, really bad news. We're likely going to die here. But we're not trying to live. We're trying to get the highest amount of treasure.
Take hit defense 0. But rusty dagger defense 1 brand
I'm going to
new.
block with my
Button.
dagger because that's one more defense.
Flee. And
you can
main.
take 0 if you let it just hit you bare. Consider that's like you're saying hit me right in my chest. You don't want to do that if you can help it.
Bare hands attack 0 2 choices. Attack with lock-picking knife attack 3 4 brand new. Button.
Best practices, you don't want to use your lock-picking knife. It's an artifact. It's very valuable. We're going to be using our lock-picking knife exclusively to unlock treasure chests, wooden, golden, spiked, or the knight from cages or special places that the knight is trapped in. That's going to be how we open up locked doors. The oak tree. The lockpicking knife has very important uses. You do not want to waste your lockpicking knife. But in this case, we're going to have to try to kill this slug. Now, I want you to hear how much health this thing has. Remember, this is a higher end character. This slug is so huge. Okay, let's let you hear this.
Choices. Story. Heading. Lock-picking knife attack. Choices. Story. Giant slug. Heading level 2.
Okay, giant slug is on heading level 2.
Life. 7 out of 7.
Okay, it's got 7 out of 7 life. That's big.
Defense. 0.
Oh, okay, this slug is a low. Okay, this is a baby slug. Okay, this is not so bad. We can kill this with 2 attacks. On a very unlucky day, we might require 3 attacks. You could roll a 3 and a 3. That can happen, and you could die. Let's hear how much the attack is.
Attack 2 up to 3.
Okay, attack up to 2 up to 3. Blocking with our rusty dagger. The most we're going to take is 2 damage. We have 10 health. Oh, by the way, you start off with 10 health, just giving you that information. Every character, I think, starts off with 10 health. I think the rogue gets easy sauce, and the rogue starts off with 15 health. I may be mistaken. I'll double check.
Speed 0.
Okay, it has no speed, so this is going to be really easy sauce.
Story. Head. The giant slug. Attack 2. And you. Life minus. You prepare. Attack. You prepare 2.
Oh, we also can hear, by the way, you're going to want to click through. You're going to want to go up to story, double tap story. If you didn't hear how much damage you take, that's not an error. The game screen refreshes. In order for you to hear that, you're going to have to go up to story, double tap that so that everything gets displayed, and you're going to hear everything on the screen read by voiceover. Don't worry, everything gets put on the screen for you to listen to.
Attack. Ellipsis. Choices. Attack with lock-picking knife attack 3 4 brand new.
Let's go ahead
Button.
and hit with the lock-picking knife.
Take hit defense 0.
All right, now it's its turn. This is a turn-based game, just so you know. All right, there will be times where they get to attack first. Mind you, the higher your speed, the better chance you have of attacking first. All right, usually the bosses have high speed. The Cobra boss has really high speed. The Minotaur has got really high speed. The Wizard's very fast. The werewolf is really fast. Ghosts are really fast. There's also really slow ponderous creatures like the stone man is really slow. Goblins are really slow, but they hit like a truck. All right, let's
take hit defense 0. Button.
We're not going to want to take hit defense 0. That means that you're taking it straight to the dome. We don't want that.
Rusty dagger defense 1 brand new.
Let's take one
Button.
of those attacks off.
Flee and main.
All right. Okay, you can always flee. Now, mind you, if you really are good at fleeing, and there's a couple of tricks I want to talk to you about. I'll do that later in the video or the next time I play. You can flee, but remember, depending on how fast you are, the creature will hit you. Now, the bad thing is if the creature got to attack first and hit you, and then you flee, that means you get hit twice. That's really bad because you're taking a lot of health damage. Mind you, if you have a really good shield, fleeing could be a good option, especially if it's a creature that has really high defense and attack. Sometimes fleeing is much easier when you have the smoke bomb. The smoke bomb is not the perfect solution, and by the way, it's one of the few items I have not 100% worked out how it works. I have not. I've experimented with it extensively, but every time I start experimenting with it, I get distracted. I start working on a different project.
Bare hands attack 0 to low attack.
All right.
Dimmed. Button.
You can attack with your bare hands. Usually when you get the knuckle duster, that's when you're going to be doing a lot more damage with your bare hands. If you increase your attack, that's going to automatically make your raw attack with your bare hands higher. You can make a whole build that's all bare hands, and with the buckler, which gives you pure defense +2 for being attacked. That means you can take an attack to the dome or straight to your body, which means you're not using your shield to block. The buckler will give you an automatic 2 defense. I've actually done a video on how to attack with no weapons bought. That is another way to get really rich as the thief. However, it's a very tricky strategy, and I'm going to have to get into that in the future videos about the thief challenge. But if you cannot ever have to buy a weapon, you're going to make so much money, because every time you get a weapon, sell. Every time you get a shield, sell. Every time you get a potion, sell, because you're never spending money on repair. You're never buying weapons, because weapons are a huge expense in this game.
Rusty dagger, lockpicking, rusty dagger attack 2-3 good shape. Button.
All right, I think we're on attack. Let's check.
Choices. Story. Heading left. The giant slug strikes. Attack 3, and you block it slightly.
All right, we took 2 damage.
Life -2.
All right, I don't have to move up and listen to how much my life is. I remember it because I play this game so much. So I took a loss of life, 1 point of hit points. So life points are measured by what they call hit points. That's a typical Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing. And 2 points of hit point loss, so that's a total of 3, which means I have 7 hit points left. When you get to 0, you die. You can also redo. That's the thing you can purchase. And if you're new to this game, buy the redos. They're a very reasonable price. And resurrections are really, in my opinion, when you're really close to beating a level and you're tired of playing a class, then you might want to try a resurrection. I do not advise a resurrection if you're in the very beginning of a tough boss fight, because you're just going to die over and over again. Let me tell you, I've dropped like 8 resurrections in a row because I really wanted to beat a class. I don't recommend that, but there's nothing wrong with that. You're supporting the developer, and this is a great developer to support. I 100% approve of you supporting good developers like this. This is a good developer. This is a good game. So if you want to support the developer, paying for resurrections, cool. Go for it. I've done it.
You prepare to attack.
All right, let's attack.
Ellipsis. Choices. Attack with lockpicking knife attack 3-4
let's
brand
hope
new.
we can finish
Button.
him off with this.
Take hit defense 0.
Nope, and it looks like we
main.
had 2-3 attacks. That is pathetic, or it dodged. Now, if you want to know if it dodges, you're going to go ahead and use your heading button.
Choices. Story. Heading level 1.
Go ahead and click that heading.
Story. You strike.
You'll know if you dodged or not.
Attack 3, and hit the giant slug. Giant slug life -3.
Okay, that means I must have missed, or I only hit it for 3 twice. That's the worst case scenario. The giant slug is annoying. It isn't fast, but I'll tell you, on any given day, any one of these monsters can dodge.
You prepare to defend. Ellipsis.
Okay, let's hear how much life this giant slug has left.
Giant slug. Life 1 out of 7.
Okay, that must mean I hit it once. On my first attack, I hit it for 3. On my second attack, I hit it for 3. This giant slug does not have any defense. That's just a really bad luck. And mind you, we're putting wear and tear in our lockpicking knife. That's not a good thing.
Defense. Attack. Speed. Story. You strike. Attack 3, and hit the giant slug.
And we're going to continue. We've been playing for about 30 minutes, but of course, this isn't fair for the challenge because I was spending most of the beginning of this video in tutorial mode. And now we're just going to get into the challenge because now I've explained several of the principles, so we can move a little bit quicker.
Giant slug life minus. You prepare to defend. Ellipsis.
Let's defend with our rusty knife.
Choices. Block with rusty dagger defense 1
Rusty
good
dagger,
shape.
excuse me.
Flee. And Main.
All right, we've defended. Now we're going to really need to finish this thing off, and we're going to just use our rusty knife to finish it off. Best practice, I go back. Whenever you attack, you're going to be at the flee button. I just go backwards. The flee, F-L-E-E, by the way.
Bare hands, rusty dagger attack 2, 3, good shape. Button.
Not that kind of flee.
Lock picking knife attack 3, rusty dagger attack 2, 3, good shape.
Yeah.
Button.
Try to use your rusty dagger or any of your fly swatter, rusty dagger, pitchfork. Be careful with the pitchfork because it has a deficit to your attributes. It's going to have a -2 speed, which means you're going to miss a lot more. Pay attention to percentages. Every weapon in this game has a percentage if it has a chance to miss. If it doesn't say a percentage, it has a 100% chance to hit, mitigated by the creature's defense.
Lock picking knife, rusty dagger attack 2, 3, bare hands attack 0, rusty dagger attack 2, 3, good shape. Button.
Okay, that good shape is just its damage to the weapon. Good shape means it's not pristine, but it's near brand new. So it starts off as brand new, then it goes to good shape, then it goes to, I think, fair, and then scratched, and then battered, and then the final amount of wear and tear is called breaking. Once you hear a weapon or shield say breaking, it's just gonna die. 2 hits on breaking, any weapon or shield is gone. It just disintegrates. Ideally, you're going to want to sell it, trade it in, or repair it before that happens. And yes, there are items that can repair weapons. There's an item that can both repair everything you own by a certain amount and or one item by 100%. All right.
Lock picking, rusty dagger attack 2, 3, good shape. Button.
Okay, let's hit that.
The giant slug falls to the ground.
All right, we got the giant slug. Hopefully this giant slug drops either a monster part. That would be the best thing for it to drop. Or if it was to drop a weapon, that would be great. At this point, as a thief, it doesn't matter if you get cursed weapons. Let me just make sure you know that doesn't matter. The thief is never going to drop points into stats. You don't get those. Your stats are garbage. You have no plus stats. The rogue starts off with stats and really easy sauce abilities. So does warrior, so does the assassin. The assassin has great abilities. So does the wizard. You don't get any of that stuff. Even the ring bearer starts off with pretty decent stuff. Mind you, they are losing health every day, and that's a major detriment, but still, the thief gets nothing. The only thing you get is money, treasure, each day. So don't worry about cursed items. Get anything you can get your hands on. In fact, I'd say a cursed item is a good plus. I was actually going to work on a little system that would give you a little matrix for you to be able to tell if it's a good start for the thief, whether to re-abandon. There is nothing wrong with abandoning a game. Of course, I'm not going to do that unless I was really going to do like a 3-hour long stream. My version of a stream, which is just me playing and you just listening to it and enjoying yourself. I'm not going to do that. I could, but if there are certain setups that you can get for the thief that make it a much more positive start for the thief.
Choices. Heading level 1.
And I'll try to do a quick little special thing for all of you to listen to. There are some Easter eggs I like to do where I'll give you some special tricks and what's the best way to start off with the thief. Because the thief starting off with a shield is always better. If you get the shield, a health potion, a lockpicking knife is always going to be given to you. That's a great start. If I was to rate everything on a scale, I would say for a 10, the health potion, straw shield, that's your best starting equipment. Maybe right after that is a mana potion and a shield. And there's hundreds of combinations. And there is a basic spreadsheet that I've actually done that I didn't include it because I didn't think it would be that entertaining for me to go through a whole spreadsheet for you. But if you really want to beat this game, I would highly suggest creating your own notes spreadsheet and basically put down how successful you are with each combination that you receive in the beginning or end. Every time you do something, make a notation. You're going to figure this game out because you're always going to go, oh wait, last time I took a mana potion and a pitchfork and I died. Okay, this time I got a straw shield and a rusty dagger and I did well. Keep track of your each scenario as you start off with on the path, and you're going to know by the preponderance of the evidence, which is your best starting equipment layout. Okay.
Continue button.
All right, now that
End.
we beat
Main.
him, we're going to continue, and
Follow the
let's
path.
hope that we
End.
got a good
Main.
amount of treasure. Monsters don't drop a terrible amount of treasure, but it doesn't matter. We're trying to just get the most treasure and not die.
Follow the path button. Choice story. Heading
Okay,
level
you
1.
didn't
story.
tell me how much
Heading
treasure I
level.
got.
The scratches and the terror are all part of the wonderful.
And all I did was swipe up. So swipe up with my headings. My rotor's set to headings. I swiped up, I double tapped on story, then swiped to my right in order to hear everything.
Experience. Period.
And you're going to want to do this because if you get an elixir of health, it's good to know if you got one.
Experience +2.
Also, you could leave behind weapons if you don't swipe up and refresh. You want to always swipe up, double tap on that story, and listen to everything that has dropped whenever you kill a monster. This is mandatory to make sure you don't miss anything.
All kinds of things are finding their way out of the giant slug, including
All right, drop something, you giant slug.
a heap of treasure.
Ooh, heap of treasure? That might be good. That could be anywhere from a D20 to maybe a D40. I would say maybe 2D20. Let's just keep it to a actual die roll. I like to think about D&D dice roll. So I would say when you hear a heap of treasure, you're going to get at least a D20 worth of treasure. Now, if it says a enormous pile of treasure, you're usually on anywhere, I would say that's a D100. You can get really rich right there. Those are good times. Usually you're going to hit around the average 30 to 50. Now, I would say a heap of treasure, I'm going to come in anywhere from, let's see if I'm right. Let's hear if I'm right. I'm going to come anywhere between 12 and about 30 treasure. Let's hear.
Period. Treasure +29.
All right. Am I good? I'm pretty much 100% within the parameter that I stated.
Choices. Follow the path.
All right. We
button.
didn't get any
End.
weapons,
Main.
so let's go ahead and follow the path. Now watch and listen to our treasure increase. Okay? Our treasure amount. You're going to be listening for that treasure amount. The first 2 days of progress, we only got 1 treasure each day. Now I've added several treasure pickups, including this 29 treasure. Watch how high our treasure pops up.
Follow the path button.
After I
End.
click
Main.
follow the path by double tapping.
Period.
All right, we don't know what happens. Let's go up to story.
Story. You. Story. Heading level 1. Story. Heading. The ring of wealth sparkles and you cough up a jewel.
Okay, did you hear that I coughed up a jewel? So your thief basically coughs up jewels. You're a magical creator of wealth.
Progress +1. Treasure +3.
Woo! Okay, now, it sounds like nothing, right? We just got 3, because we were at 1, now we got 3. But that's 3 free treasure. We didn't have to pay for anything. We didn't have to do anything for that. And that's how the thief gets rich. You just have to hoard the treasure.
Hidden in the bushes lie the remnants of a carriage.
Oh, that's what we
Plundered,
want.
so it seems, but not thoroughly. Under the wreckage you find.
Okay, the carriage is a great event. The thief is always going to want to get free treasure without fighting for it. So the treasure on the path is your best. The carriage is usually a D8 to D12 worth of treasure. And the carriage has a better opportunity to drop special items. You could get a potion, you could get a weapon, you could get even
Overeats.
an artifact.
Now, exclusive.
And thank you. All right.
A heap of treasure.
Oh, a heap of treasure. So again, that's going to be a D, anywhere from a D12 to up to a D20 plus about 10.
Period. Treasure +19.
All right, that's pretty much what I expected.
Choices. Heading left. Follow the path. Button.
All right, let's
End. Main.
Let's listen for our treasure
Follow
exponentially
the
growing.
path. End. Main.
All right, we've when you hear that follow the path, usually nothing's happened. You can just keep clicking follow the path. I would not suggest that. I would suggest always find out what happens each day. You want to take a mental image of everything that's happening so you can get an understanding of what's likely to come up. Everything is random. These are not a predetermined path. It is random every time you play through. You may think it's not random, but it is random. There are just choices that are very common, and there are choices that are rare. There are events that are common, there are events that are rare. Just listen to each one so you know what's probably coming up. Like, I would say if you've had a lot of good luck and a lot of very advantageous events occur, you're due for a bad one. You're due for a monster to attack you. You're due for a really crappy ruins or dungeon. Also, if you've had a lot of crappiness, it isn't a guarantee that you're going to get something good, but you're likely to.
Choices. Story. Heading level. Story.
Okay, let's hear how much treasure is dropping now. Remember, we were at 3. We should be at 4 now. 4 free treasure should be dropping on us.
The Ring of Wealth sparkles and you sneeze gold dust.
Ooh, we sneezed some gold dust. Achoo! This is where Sweetie Belle should be sneezing. Sneeze right now, Sweetie Belle. We need a sneeze because we just sneezed gold dust.
Progress +1.
She doesn't have a sneeze? Oh, she always has.
The Ring of Wealth. Progress +1. Treasure +4.
Treasure +4. You don't have a sneeze for me. Usually she has a sneeze for me. You had a sneeze this morning. Okay, Sweetie Belle doesn't have a sneeze for us, so we're going to get no sneeze. That's really disappointing. All right, so Gesundheit in advance. God bless in advance. All right, so now we got 4 treasure. So we're getting free treasure. Now, we got 1, 1, 3, and 4. So that is 7, 8, 9. That's free treasure. It doesn't sound like much, does it? But let's keep going. This is the trick with the thief. You don't stop and get like worried. It's gonna pile up. Now remember, we also got ruins and dungeons and just random drops, but we're also getting free loot. And we haven't even gotten to the shopkeeper where we're really gonna turn this strategy up like 10 points on your stereo. And for those of you who don't know what a stereo is, it's what old people or mature people like myself used to play and turn up. You just turn up the volume and it gets really loud. I know you very beautiful, wonderful, younger people didn't have stereos, but we mature folks used to have stereos in our houses. Every house had a stereo, and you turn it up. Sweetie Belle's grandmother used to have a stereo. And what we do is we turn the stereo up to like our parents would go away. We'd get in our pajamas, or we'd put on a pair of whatever boxers. If you've never watched the movie Risky Business, watch the movie Risky Business with Tom Cruise. One of my absolutely favorite movies. It may be rated R, so get your parents' permission if you are a minor. However, there's this scene where he turns up his favorite song, and he's in his boxers. He's got a pair of sunglasses on, and he's gyrating to this max volume, and the stereo's playing in the background. That is what you did as a kid or a teenager, as a young adult. You would turn your stereo, drive all your neighbors crazy, and just pump the music up. Not at night. Hopefully you didn't do this, and you're not a jerk. You know, if you're playing your music late night past your curfew time for your building sound, you're a jerk. I'm sorry. I'm going to admit it to you. You're a jerk. People are trying to sleep, okay? And if you're jumping on your treadmill in the middle of the night and shaking the whole building because you're a jerk. I got to say that too. I have one of those people that live in my building. They jump on the floor. They run on a treadmill at 4 a.m. I have to say, you're a jerk. It's super annoying. People can't sleep when you're pounding on a treadmill. Get a pad for that thing, please. All right. Enough of that rant. Moving forward.
The path goes through a half-buried skeleton.
Uh-oh. We have a doorbell stuck in. Sorry about that.
The size of a cathedral. Under the cover of what seems to be a shoulder blade camps a giant.
All right. We have a noise in the background. It doesn't mean anything's on fire. We just have a doorbell that sticks in every now and then.
The size of a cathedral. Giant.
All right. So this is just... Thank you. So we have a doorbell that gets stuck, and what will happen is it's super duper loud. I apologize for that. Because we have a sticky doorbell, and I don't know how you fix that. So if you have a solution for a sticky doorbell, please leave it in the comments. I know it's called Call Your Management and have them fix it. They've tried and they've said it's fixed. It doesn't fix. People just have heavy hands and they just touch the doorbell. I've actually had really light fingers just get it stuck too. So we have no idea how to not make the doorbell go crazy.
Story. Story. Heading left. Story. Heading
listen.
level 1. The Ring of Wealth sparkles and you sneeze gold dust. Progress +1.
Okay,
treasure
I got distracted. 4. We got treasure +4.
The path goes through a
This
half-buried skeleton.
is the mandatory tutorial level. You're going to get this every time you play through Path of Adventure. This is relaxing. There's no enemies to fight. This is where Jordan added an update. So this is the part where you get to find out what creature you're fighting on progress level 50. You're going to want to pay attention. If you're trying to play through the whole game, I'm in tutorial mode by the way, you're going to want to pay attention to what creature you're going to fight. Because if you're fighting the Hydra, you better get yourself some speed. And if you're fighting the Dragon, it's in between. And if you're fighting the Giant, you're going to want to go heavy duty defense. The Hydra isn't terribly powerful for attack. You're just never going to hit it. Whereas a Dragon is the best. It's the most balanced out of all 3 of the final bosses.
The size of a cathedral. Under Giant. That occupies the castle.
Okay,
of
so
Doom.
we know that there's the Giant is the final boss. We're not likely going to get there because we're doing a very risky strategy. Remember, we're doing an all or nothing. That's what challenges are all about. This is not survival mode for Thief. If anybody's interested in me just playing the Thief through to survive, I can easily do that for you. It isn't easy, but I can pull it off. Maybe 1 out of 5 tries, I can go completely through the game on a Thief. The Thief is extremely hard. Mind you, you need to have the best loadout when you start with a Thief. If you get the wrong loadout, by the way, the Thief beats the game if you get the Love Spell, the Wizard's Pipe, and the Wizard's Hat. If you start off with a Health Potion, the Shield, and at least the Lockpicking Knife, and if you can pop the Flame Sword and the Wizard Staff, boom, done deal, GG, you're good. But that's not likely to happen.
Choices. Heading level 1. Ask about the castle.
Okay,
button.
You can ask about the castle.
The Giant.
The Giant.
Button. Follow the path. Button.
What'd you get, Sweetie
name.
Belle? Did you give me apple slices? Oh, you little cutie. You little sweetie pie. I love you still though. I didn't ask for it though, it's true. I didn't. Just messing with Sweetie Belle. I'm messing with her because I'm begging for apple slices because I'm so lazy that I don't even go to the refrigerator. We have apples in the refrigerator. No, that's fine. You're good. Enjoy your food. I'm just being... No, that's okay. You don't have to. I'm being rude. All right, let's keep moving here.
Follow the path. Button.
We don't
name.
need to find out any of this information, but if you want to hear this, play the game through, download it, play through. You can listen to all the different tutorials for each part of this level. We don't care about this. We just want to hear our treasure increase go up.
The Giant. Follow the path. Button.
Let's double tap that.
Buckler. Story. Heading level
the
1.
buckler. That's good. Buckler means we don't have to pay for shields. Now, here's the really bad part about this. When you need to go into Dungeons and Ruins, that's where you are at your weakest and most vulnerable point. The Thief has nothing. Your stats are flat. You have no bonuses. In fact, you're likely to be like no shield. You're going to die. So you have to be ultra conservative in your exploration and monster fighting. If you can help it, don't fight anything because you are not a fighter. You are a thief. And I don't mean to say that, let's not get too politically correct here. But yeah, in a fantasy game as a thief, your job is not to fight if you don't have to. Steal some more, climb stuff, catbird. You're trying to steal. You're not there to kill. You're there to steal. Get your stuff and get out. Get out. Don't fight. That's for the tank. That's for the rogue. Your job is not to fight. You're not the wizard. Get in, get out. That's it.
Stats. Heading level 1.
Let's go back
Name.
to our story.
Landmark. Navigation. Heading not stat. Story. Heading level 1.
Let's
Story.
hear what
Heading
we got
level
for
1.
this day worth of treasure.
The ring of wealth sparkles and you spit out a gem. Progress +1. Treasure +4.
Ooh, our treasure still is 4. So, do you hear? We are still adding up free treasure. It's starting to pile up a bit.
You enter a chasm and follow it into a
Okay,
mountain.
a chasm means we're in a dungeon.
Bones and rusted blades
Dungeons
litter the narrow
are
path.
good. We can
you
get
halt
good
at the black
stuff.
iron doors of a dungeon.
All right. By the way, voiceover is going to start reading, and you're going to hear voiceover pause because the line's going to be broken up. Keep swiping to your right. You're going to get to hear everything. But go back up to story, double tap that, and have the entire page read. You can also go up to the top of the screen and swipe down with 2 fingers if you want to hear the entire page. Both strategies are valid.
Watching them slide open, you notice the engravings of a buckler.
Buckler's good. Now, I don't know if we can get that without dying. I have certain conditions in dungeons that the thief cannot take on. If there's anything that lowers our speed or attack, we're going to bail because we're not going to survive. We just need a negative effect. We're dead. We're beyond dead. We cannot afford negative effects. And dungeons are one of the few places that there are tons of negative effects. We are very likely to be attacked. There is a 20 to 30% increased chance, and I've done the math, there's a 20 to 30% increased chance of being attacked by a random monster. Dungeons also have an equal percentage chance, approximately, of running into a setup. What I mean by a setup is you're going to be going through a dangerous area which will lower your attack, your defense, or your speed, and you will also run into a monster. So you are now understated, and you have to fight a monster. By the way, monsters in dungeons are stronger than normal monsters. They have higher attacks, higher abilities, they're more likely to attack first. It is bad, bad, bad all around.
Period. Choices. Enter dungeon.
We're going to enter the dungeon because we're just playing.
Choices. Enter dungeon. Button.
All right, let's
Back
enter.
out.
Now, if you run into Willy, say hi, because Willy's what we named a little worm. Willy's outside of every dungeon. He's a little worm with a scarf, and he's very cute. Or she, or they, because Willy does not have pronouns.
Choices. Story. Heading level 1. Story. You cross a gloomy cellar.
Okay,
By the
gloomy
looks of the
cellar
furniture,
is
a good amount
nothing.
of torture took
Sometimes
place here.
there's treasure
You're
here, but
relieved
it
to find
looks
a thick layer of dust covering it all.
No, we didn't get treasure.
Choices. Go.
We need to go further in. Now for dungeons, be careful. You're going to have to take my tutorial. It will be linked in the bottom in the description. Learn how to play these parts before you take on the Thief Challenge. And by the way, you're not going to be unlocking the Thief when you first play. When you first play, there are a lot of classes to play before you play the Thief. By the time you get to the Thief, you are going to be a very veteran player of Path of Adventure.
Back out. Button. Further in. Button.
We're going to go
End.
further
Main.
in.
Further in. End. Main. Choices. Story. Heading level. Story. In search for water, you lower yourself
Oh
into a
yes,
well.
this is
Not a drop.
instant treasure.
You do find some treasure.
Cool. Now the search for water usually gets us, I would say, a D20 worth of treasure.
Though. Treasure plus 9.
Oh, that's cool. That's really good. Also, you might want to know why I'm calling it D4, D6, D. These are typical Dungeons & Dragons dice, but I pretty much know the parameters. Now, I know this one is at least a D12 or higher. It's not a D8 because we got 9 treasure. So obviously it has to be higher than a D8. So you want to monitor how much treasure is dropping from these particular spots, because that's going to give you an idea whether they're worth the risk.
Choices. Heading level 1.
So 9 treasure is really good.
Treasure plus choices. Treasure plus 9.
Treasure plus 9 is really good.
Choices. Go.
Let's go.
Back out. Button.
No, we don't want to go back out.
Further in.
Let's go
Button.
further in.
Further in. End. Main. Back up. Go. Choices. Plus mush before the toxic air drives you out.
Good. Mushroom. Okay, mushrooms are the absolutely fantastic. Now, I have run into players who do not use mushrooms. They absolutely hate them. Okay, let me teach you that you gotta take mushrooms. Mushrooms will get you through this game. Mushrooms are basically turning you to Marvel superheroes, or they could be really bad if you don't know what you're doing with them. So mushrooms have multiple uses. There's an attack mushroom, which means your attack increases by 3.
Twitter.
There is a defense mushroom that increases your defense by 3. There is a speed mushroom that increases your speed by 3. There is a magic mushroom that it gives you 2 experience points free of charge. There is a growth mushroom that is the same as an elixir of growth, which means you can increase any stat by 1, or you can increase your health by 5. It removes any poison and also rejuvenates your life to full. But a growth mushroom does not increase your life to full, and it does not remove poison, but it does have the other effects of an elixir of growth. Still, growth mushrooms are broken good. If you get 2 or 3 of those, you just destroy this game. I would highly suggest you increase your health by 5. However, if you're playing the ring bearer, you do not want to move your health past 25. Do not. You don't want to lose 3 health a day. That's bad news. If you want to play the ring bearer, once you hit 25 health and you're losing 2 health a day, don't just drop those in defense. Drop it in defense or drop it in speed. Or even drop it in attack, because you're going to need it. There's a lot of strategies with the ring bearer. If anybody wants me to play the ring bearer, I've played it. I've beaten it on 1 try. It is fabulous. It is the maximum tactical gameplay. Jordan Key's most brilliant class ever created. It is my favorite class, but the Thief is my funnest challenge class.
Story. Heading level 1. Story. You enter a damp room illuminated by
Alright, so
soft
we got
glowing fungi
mushrooms.
covering all
You
4
get
walls.
4 mushrooms.
You manage to take a...
When you go through the okay, if you get a mushroom room, you're going to want to come back this way. It's going to increase your mushroom cost because you're going to get something called an allergic reaction. The allergic reaction is going to trigger a penalty. That penalty will increase your mushroom partake cost by 1. What I mean by partake cost is that whenever you consume a mushroom, it costs you health. The cost of the mushroom eating cost continues to go up higher. Every time you eat a mushroom, the cost goes up by 1 hit point loss. It keeps going up. It doesn't stop. Goes to 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4,
now,
4 to, and it keeps going up. It can go up to a ludicrous amount, and you want to be careful with that. However, there are ways to reset the mushroom costs, and those are called, I want to call it's called a, oh God, why do I not remember the name of it? Okay, it's a dead something mushroom. But it basically lowers the cost of your eating down to 1. There's a strategy for that, and you basically do not want to use that Dead X. There we go. A Dead X mushroom will reduce the cost of your mushroom consumption all the way back down to 1, which is the original cost. You never want to take the Dead X mushroom until you know you have used up your heal mushrooms. And a heal mushroom is something that benefits from you increasing your costs. So you've got to play it. It's a special game within a game. It's a mini game. The mushroom game is a great game. It's how you beat any class, get through the end. You're going to want to use mushrooms on a final boss, and you're going to want to use it on a Hydra if you don't have enough speed. The mushrooms are compensation tools for anything you don't have. For instance, say you've got a lot of defense, but you're up against the Cobra boss. You're going to need speed to beat the Cobra boss, so you're going to want to take a speed mushroom to compensate. Meanwhile, you've got to manage the cost of consumption. Don't get your consumption costs up too high unless you're planning on taking Elixir of Youth, or you're planning on taking a healing mushroom because you're using a healing mushroom in place of a healing potion or Elixir of Youth or growth mushroom. Now remember, the healing mushroom does not cost you life when you consume it. It has the opposite effect. It heals you for the cost that it would cost you to consume it. That's a good thing.
Handful of mushrooms.
We got 4 mushrooms.
Before the top plus mushroom, 4.
Plus mushroom 4, that just means you got 4 mushrooms.
Choices. Go. Back out.
We're going to go further in.
Further in. Button. End. Main. Go back. End.
Okay,
main.
We got to the end. The minute you come to a page and you hear that go back, that means we got what we needed to get. This is awesome. So we're going to get free mushrooms again. We're going to take the allergic reaction penalty, but we're also going to get what's inside of this dungeon.
Choices. Story.
Go
Heading
back
level
up
1.
to story.
Story.
Double tap,
Heading level
swipe
1.
to your right.
The dungeon ends at a staircase leading down into a vault.
Cool.
A trickle
The vault
over
is
plenty of time
always
filled it with
good.
water. After a couple of very chilly dives, you end up with a collection of golden coins and the...
And Jordan does a beautiful job of dropping some really nice. If you also want to hear some of the beautiful description, it's a very good audio description that this game works completely perfectly with voiceover. So best practices, Jordan has all the description. Everything is controlled. Voiceover, you can two fingers with your fingers slightly apart, touch the screen. It will immediately stop voiceover from speaking. 4-finger tap the top of the screen will move you to the top of the screen. 4-finger tap the bottom of the screen. The 4 fingers together will bring you to the bottom of the screen. You can swipe up by pages by 3 fingers. You can swipe down with 2 pages from the top, and it will read the entire page. Voiceover functionality is completely working in every part of this game. Jordan did extensive testing, and he has made sure that he brought people in on this project to test this game for its accessibility, and that's why it's so good. When developers start the accessibility process from the ground up, you get the best results. If you're doing a project and you're a developer and you want somebody to test your game, I have an email. It is newdeath2014@gmail.com. I am available to do testing for games, and I can let you know from a visually impaired person's perspective, a blind person's perspective, if your game is accessible and the best practices. I have extensive game testing experience, and I will let you know if a blind person will go, no, I will let you know. I test bugs very well. I've just recently finished testing for a AAA developer, a game. Its accessibility is looking fantastic. I can't give you the title because I'm under, you know what they call them, the NDAs. I can't talk about it, but it's so good. And they've started their accessibility from the ground floor up. And Jordan did the same thing. So that's what you want to do. You want to start your accessibility from the ground floor up.
Buckler.
All right, we got our buckler. Now the buckler means we have an automatic 2 defense. That means we don't need a shield. Now we're going to let everything hit the buckler. The buckler is invulnerable. It never runs out of defense, and it doesn't have any. Its damage mitigation is always 2. In addition to any of our stats that add to it, the stats add together. But the great thing about the buckler is it doesn't lose durability.
Exclamation mark.
Cool.
Treasure plus 18 plus buckler.
Ooh, and we
Experience
got 18
plus 1.
treasure
YouTube.
and
Now,
1.
Dungeons.
And I'm getting a ton of interruptions.
Choices.
Let's,
Heading level 1.
I'm surprised we haven't had a phone call, and I'll have to throw multiple. I'm getting so many notifications, and I am just going to have to start turning all notifications off.
Go back. Button.
Let's go ahead and go back. Now, if they give us an option to choose a different path, we're going to skip that. We're going to take the path that goes back because we want the mushrooms. Mushrooms are money in the bank.
Choices. Go back. Button. Same route.
All right. I knew they were going to throw that option. Now, this is tricky. Taking the same route is perfect for our strategy. We've passed no monsters. A monster could show, mind you, remember, dungeons have a higher percentage of random encounters. There's no way to get out of it. You just have to be cautious. Expect it, and you won't be surprised. Now, if we take a different route, yes, there's a better chance for treasure. However, we could get into a fight, and that could cost us a lot. We don't want to lose all the loot we just gained. We're going to go back and take that allergic reaction and that mushrooms.
Choices. Take. Same route. Button.
We're going to take the same route. That's best practices.
Back out. End. Main.
Okay.
Back choices. Head. Story. Heading level. Story. As you re-enter the fungi room, you're hit by some kind
fungi
of...
room. And it's called the fungi room, by the way, not the mushroom room. It's called the fungi room. Fungi!
Allergic reaction.
All right, we got allergic reaction.
Your eyes tear violently. You quickly pick a few mushrooms.
You're going to get only 2 mushrooms on the second time through, but that's a net 6 mushrooms, which is great. And yes, there is an NPC who will eat the mushrooms for you and tell you what every mushroom does. I do not suggest that. It's a waste. If you want to test your mushrooms, just make sure you have an elixir of youth so that you can reverse. There's only 1 negative mushroom in the entire mushroom collection. It's the poison switch mushroom. And by the way, the poison switch mushroom does have a very important use because there are many parts of the game that require you to be poisoned for certain effects. So don't worry, and antidotes are not terribly expensive.
And hurry out. Plus mushroom. 2.
Cool.
Mushroom. Choices. Go. Back out. Button.
Let's go back
End.
out.
Back out. End. Choice. Story. Heading level. Back at the well. You find it filled with water.
Okay, we
you
only
drink
get
your fill
water.
And continue your way with
now
a
the
sloshing
well
stomach.
will sometimes have double treasure. Always check.
Choices.
But
Heading level
remember,
1.
treasure's automatically placed in your inventory.
Go. Back out. Button. End. Back out.
And yes,
End.
once you go back out, you can't go back in. That'd be kind of fun if you could, though.
Choices. Story. After all this time traversing through dim rooms and even darker corridors,
these are
your
just
eyes have adjusted to the lacking light, allowing you to see more of your surroundings.
These
and
mean
you wish
nothing.
that weren't the case.
So if I swipe by these, you're not missing anything. Auditorially described rooms vary. You will never get the same room every time you run through the game. Sometimes you'll get different ones. Sometimes you'll get the same one.
Choices. Go. Back out. Button. Follow the path. End.
All right, we're out. You're going to follow the path. Don't worry, you're not missing anything. If you want to hear what happens when you come out of the dungeon, just go back up to story and listen to it.
Choice. Everything outside. Story. Heading level 1.
Okay, when you get to the heading of the story, I'm going to just let you hear it so I won't have to play it again in the future.
Fresh air. Don't you just love being back?
And your character will talk to yourself. You kind of have like a dungeon master narrator.
Outside. Everything seems brighter and more alive after being stuck in the dark for so long. Although maybe not so much for this skull-infested passage. Choices. Heading level 1.
There really isn't a choice when you leave the dungeon. That's just a mandatory thing that's placed. There really isn't any choice. It'd be nice if you could just do the dungeon again. Now, Jordan, I think a great update would be I can go through a dungeon again, and I'd have to pay a certain amount of treasure for an opportunity to maybe open up more opportunities and maybe increase the number of opportunities for a monster encounter. And that would be more like an endless mode. I've been trying to beg Jordan Key for an endless mode forever. That would be so fun.
Follow the path. Button. End. Main. Follow the path.
All right,
End.
let's
Main.
find out how much our treasure is. I think we're going to get a magical bonus of maybe 6 treasure or 7. Let's go up to story.
Choices. Story. Heading level 1. Story. The Ring of Wealth sparkles and
Okay,
you
Ring
sneeze
of
gold
Wealth
dust.
is... By the way, the Ring of Wealth is what is granting us this free treasure.
Progress plus 1. Treasure plus 6.
Woo! Now we got a free 6 treasure because we are piling up free treasure.
You meet a gray-bearded adventurer.
All right, this
Always
guy
keep your valuables
is
somewhere
just
safe.
a perv.
He says, choices.
We're not
Heading
going to
level
even
1.
listen to what he... You can go ahead and listen to what he says. That's going to be your fun to listen to. He's a perv. Trust me.
You meet a choices. Follow the path.
Let's
Button.
go ahead and follow
End.
the path.
Follow the path. End. Choices. Story. Heading
All right.
Follow the path. Choices. Story. The Ring of Wealth sparkles and you spit out a gem.
All right, we got another gem.
Progress plus 1. Treasure plus 6.
Ooh, treasure plus 6. Another. So in 2 days, we've gotten 12 free treasure.
Right after you turn a sharp corner, you bump into a
Merchant. Now, the merchant is where we're going to really start turning the strategy up.
merchant. And his stall. I knew this was a good spot.
And he's
he
going to
says.
talk to you.
Here you rascals are still alive. Any luck finding treasure? I have some good stuff for sale.
Okay, so you got to be cautious with the merchant. His prices are pretty high. If you think you're going to be getting your own treasure, just avoid buying anything. For the thief strategy, there are some things you're going to want to buy. If you want to survive, the lockpicking knife, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get any artifacts. However, you're going to be wanting to look for mana pots. If you got any magic spells, grab your mana pots. If you need a health issue, get your healing potion. Now, we also do not know who our first mini boss is. If it's the Stoneman, we're probably going down. If it's the Cobra, we could get by it. If it's the Goblin Chief, then that's where the mushrooms come in. The Goblin Chief is the hardest first mini boss. He may only have 12, or actually, we don't know what the Goblin Chief's pronouns. We don't know what it is. So they only have 12 health, but it could be very much the end of you because the Goblin Chief has very strong stats. The second worst is the Stoneman. It's got very rough stats. And the Cobra, it's got very tough stats.
Story. Story. Heading level 1. The Ring of Wealth sparkles. Choice. Shop. Button.
You gotta have to select shop. So let's go ahead and... Wait, let's make sure we heard how much treasure we got today.
Follow the path. Choices. Story. Heading level 1. Story. The Ring of Wealth sparkles and you spit out a gem. Progress plus 1. Treasure plus 6.
Okay, we just got 6. Okay.
Choices. Shop. Button.
Let's go ahead and shop.
Lead. End. Main.
All right, first let's hear what he's got. Now we do have I don't think we have any rusty weapon. We have actually, check your inventory. Let's do best practices. Go to our inventory.
Stats. Navigation.
You're going to
Heading
find
level
that
1.
up from the swipe all the way to the top of the screen.
Heading not
When
found.
you hear that gloom, gloom, heading not found, that means you're at the very beginning of the page.
Undo. Button.
The undo button is something you can pay to undo what you've done. You can go back a day to the beginning of the day.
Story. Dim. Button.
Story is your standard mode of operation.
Inventory. Button.
Inventory is what you're going to want to check. Let's go ahead and check that.
Inventory.
Double tap.
Dim.
Let's listen to our weapons.
Weapons. 1. Lockpicking knife.
Okay, we don't have any shield. We don't need it because we have the buckler.
Artifact.
And by the way, this is how you listen to what your weapons durability is.
Attack. Plus 3 up to 4.
And
Speed.
your attack.
Plus 1
and your
good
speed.
shade. Opens
It's in
any
good
kind of
shape.
lock.
And it also tells you what it does.
Sell treasure plus 45.
And you can sell it, but I don't recommend you sell the lockpicking knife. It is your most valuable tool for the thief.
2. Rusty dagger.
You can have up to 4 weapons and armament. You don't get armor in this game, only shields and weapons, but I just call it armor because obviously, armor would be a great update for this game.
Sell treasure plus 4. 2. Rusty dagger.
Okay, that's her weapon. Now, if it's not terribly damaged, we don't need to worry about buying another one.
Attack, +2 up to 3. Defense, +1 scratch.
Okay, scratch is like it's halfway, almost going downhill. So scratch is like the midpoint. This thing's got about another maybe 4 to 5 more attacks on it before it breaks. Now, if you're using a dagger, like a rusty dagger, or anything that blocks for you, like a sword, or a monster sword, something like that, those things are double duty. They can be shields as well as weapons. But remember, you're doing double durability loss. If you're using it to attack with, and you're using it to block, then the durability is being decreased much quicker.
Sell treasure +20. Button.
We're not going to sell it because we're going to use it.
3. Empty slot.
We don't have anything in our third
4.
or
Empty
fourth slot. Let's hear what items we have.
Items. Heading. Key.
We got a key.
So rusted that it's bound to break in the first lock for which it's used. Sell treasure +13.
We can sell
Button.
our now we're looking for things to sell because the thief is all about maximizing our treasure.
Buckler.
We don't want to sell the buckler. That's our shield. That's money in the bank. But let's listen to how much we can sell it for.
Artifact. Small shield strapped to your arm.
Most of the time, folks, do not sell artifacts. They may get you a lot of money, but you're not going to want to sell them. I'm going to teach you how to sell these at the right moment, and that's usually going to be when we're about to take on the last boss so that we maximize our high score. Don't sell the buckler until we get something substantial, and that's only going to happen near the end of the game.
Defense.
And that's no guarantee you're going to survive either.
Small. Defense. +2 when taking a hit.
Okay, when taking a hit, obviously. Oh, by the way, that's important to realize. The buckler doesn't give you stat increases. It's only when you take a hit that the buckler will give you that +2 defense.
Sell treasure +35.
That's
Button.
35 treasure. That's a lot of treasure, but it's not worth it because this price is going to go up. By the way, all artifacts increase in selling price. So if you wait, you'll be able to sell it for much more.
Ring of Wealth.
We can also sell our Ring of Wealth. Now, your primary class's artifact is the most profitable to sell, including your Elixir of Health. That's going to get you a lot of money. But you don't want to sell this because if we sold our Ring of Wealth, that would defeat the whole purpose of this entire exercise. This is the point. The Thief Challenge is all about maximum treasure.
Artifact. Grows the wealth of the wearer by 5% on every new day, while
Okay.
on the path.
So you have the math there. It's 5% each day. It's 5% of your treasure. So obviously, the more treasure, you get 5% of that. That's a pretty easy math to do. So count your treasure up. You'll know how much you get by just doing the simple math in your head. I think the easiest way to do 5% is count your treasure, calculate 10%, and then divide that by 2.
Sell treasure +65. Button.
Okay, we don't want to do that.
Mushrooms. Heading level
Mushrooms
1.
don't get you much money, but if you don't like them, you can sell them too.
Eating mushrooms costs. Life. The price increases by 1 with each mushroom eaten.
Okay,
Current
we talked
price
about this
2.
one. Okay, so the price for eating mushrooms is 2 because we got that allergic reaction. Mind you, normally the cost for eating mushrooms doesn't go up until we consume one.
Mushroom 6. Mushroom with some magical power.
And we have
Eating
6
reveals the
mushrooms.
kind.
We can sell them. All the mushrooms have weird, unknown properties, and there are ways to find out what the properties of mushrooms are. We have a woman who is an NPC along the path. She will consume your mushrooms, but never your copies. She will always consume at least 1 copy of your mushrooms. I don't advise that. It's a waste. Just eat them yourselves and then deal with the consequences. You'll learn what each mushroom does. Once you kind of learn what all your mushrooms are, you can even guesstimate what your remaining mushrooms are. Long as it's a valuable mushroom, it's worth expending the loss of life. Because if you know you're going to get a growth mushroom because you've unlocked all the other mushrooms, well, boom, eat that growth mushroom because you can replace up to 5 health with a growth mushroom.
Sell treasure +4. Buck. Legend. Heading level
Mushrooms
1.
are worth 4 treasure each, which is nice.
Artifact.
All right, now and at the bottom of your inventory is a complete tutorial on what every item in your inventory does, which is awesome. And that will walk you through everything that is in your inventory.
Legend. Heading level 1.
And that's going to be a legend that you can read everything. Now, to get out of this, let's go back up. Let's swipe up.
Heading undo story.
And
button.
click story.
Story.
And
dim.
now we're going to swipe down and find out what's for sale.
Stats. Heading level U. Heading level story. Heading left choices. Heading level 1.
And that's going to be choices.
Choice group toggle.
You
Heading
can
level
either
2.
buy items or you can buy weapons. Well, let's listen for the weapons and then we'll check out the items.
Buy weapons. Dimmed. Buy items. Toggle. Fly swatter attack plus. 2-3. Speed plus 1 treasure
Fly
minus
Swatter's
45.
Great.
Button.
Fly Swatter's great for taking on the King Cobra boss. That's a great thing for, I mean, if it's a really fast enemy like what is it? The bat. There's a bat. He's really, really angry. The little angry bat, I call him. He's like an angry bird, but he's an angry bat. And he is really, he's really super annoying.
Buy items. Fly swatter attack plus. 2-3.
Yeah, the bat's
Speed plus
super
1 treasure
fast.
minus 45.
You're going to
Button.
want to have this against it.
Straw shield defense plus
Okay,
2 treasure minus 45.
See,
Button.
the straw shield is 45 treasure. Now, we saved 45 treasure because we have the buckler, and that's why we don't have to buy the straw shield. And by the way, the straw shield takes damage, so it does mitigate 2 points of damage, but it's also going to have durability loss every time it gets hit.
League. Button. League.
Okay, there's
button.
not much here.
Main.
We definitely don't want to buy this fly swatter. That's a huge waste of treasure. Let's check out the items. So we're going to swipe up.
Choice group toggle. Buy weapons. Buy items.
We're going to
Toggle
double
button.
tap on
Not
items.
Checked.
And let's listen for what items are available.
Torch treasure minus 17. Button.
Oh, that's kind of almost worth it. Now we're going to lose 17 treasure on the torch, but we're also going to have a good opportunity to perhaps free the knight. Now the knight is a NPC that gets stuck in very precarious situations, and I'll let you explore that. It's a nice little spoiler, but you'll have a little fun playing with the knight. But the knight has to be freed. You're either going to free the knight with a fire source, or you're going to free the knight with an unlocking source. Now you have a spell magic that is called fire, and you have a spell magic that is called sesame spell that will unlock. Those both, the sesame spell and the key basically do the same thing, except the sesame spell increases your cost in treasure. Treasure is your source of magical energy. Think about treasure as mana. Coming, 1 second. And also, sorry, we have a delivery. And think of, I actually have my D&D miniatures. I think they're coming today. Thank you. That's for me. Thank you. You're the best, Mike. You're the best. That's my mailman. He's awesome. He's just super awesome. Always hooks me up with stuff. He just makes the blind accessibility the best. He's the fellow postal worker like myself. Of course, I spent 28 years doing it in the trenches as a postal worker, and that is my poster. That is our post person, and he is awesome. Yeah, feel free. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be the miniatures. The miniatures that I ordered, the second batch of them. I have this really cool D&D project that Sweetie Belle is collaborating with me on. We are creating a tactile Dungeons & Dragons map. And yes, that's your preview look at what we're going to be and here and what we're going to be working on. And I will be doing a video probably Saturday talking about how this tactile map is going to feel like. I'm going to do a video and audio describe it. It is so beautiful and exciting. Sweetie Belle has just finished the map section, and I am currently working on, Sweetie Belle's actually done most of the work. She's done the map section, she's done the miniatures, and I am probably going to have her do the Braille for the tags, but that's going to be more for something for people who read Braille. I don't do Braille yet. I can do Jumble Braille, but I don't really remember most of my Jumble Braille. Sweetie Belle's a Braille expert, but we are actually trying to create a completely accessible tactile map system for anyone to do on their own. And we're going to be doing a do-it-yourself is that DIY or DIY? DIY series. Yeah, there we go. Look at us getting all DIY up in here. We're going to be doing our own DIY, blind accessible, visually impaired, low vision accessible tactile map that you can do for under $20 yourself and create your actually I have to be honest, it's going to cost you more than that if you're talking about buying your miniatures and getting your Braille tags. I'm going to have the total price, so let me be honest, I'm going to give you the total price for the whole DIY. We're going to add up the costs, and then we're going to come up with cost-saving measures for you to save money on creating your own tactile map set. It's not cheap, but you're going to love it because you're going to make it yourself. And I can't wait to get that series going. We haven't filmed it yet, but we're going to work on it this weekend for a little bit. And Sweetie Belle is working on this project for the past few days. Thank her very much. Love her very much. Appreciate her. She's doing great work on that. But yeah, I will have a video talking about creating. It's going to be under my being your own dungeon master. It doesn't matter if you're blind or visually impaired. Anyone can be a dungeon master. Anybody can play Dungeons and Dragons. It's a great, beautiful game. It's blind accessible. There are some parts that aren't, but I am going to help you create ways that are going to be accessible. And I don't stop. If something's not accessible, I'm either going to advocate to get it accessible, I'm going to complain until it is accessible, I'm going to fight to make it accessible, and if I can figure out a way to make it accessible, I'm going to bring it to you all. That is why I make this channel. Now, getting back to what we're talking about here, I think this is probably a natural point where we're going to stop but first let's hear what this vendor has for us to shop.
Buy items. Torch treasure -17.
Okay, Torch
button.
is definitely a winner. I'm going to say you're going to want to spend some of that hard-earned treasure on Torch, because Torch means you can free the night, and Torch means you can open up certain rooms like the Field of Mosquitoes, which is very deadly for a thief.
Mana potion treasure -34.
Mana potion
button.
is fantastic, and Mana potion is going to be able to reset the cost for potions.
Leave. Button.
Again, that's all we have.
Main.
We're going to stop right here for now. We're going to have to do another part on this because I really want to get this challenge going. And we've had a fantastic start. And I've given you a lot of tutorial modes and a lot of tips and tricks. Please, thank you very much. Thank you for supporting the channel. Love you very much. Appreciate all of you. Thank you for supporting. Like, subscribe, share. And as I always say to all of you, love you very much. And love yourself, each other. Be kind always. Stay safe out there. Wear a mask. Get vaccinated. Wear a mask even if you're vaccinated. You can hang out with other people if you've been vaccinated. But make sure you all have got both your vaccinations. And please, let's hang out again tomorrow. I'll come back and try to do part 2. Or we'll come back and do either Serania or Life Simulator. But I'm really loving this tutorial series with Path of Adventure. Get it in the App Store. You can find it in the description. Developer is Jordan Key. He is fabulous. Blind accessible. Newdeath Gaming. Game of 2019. Top rated game of 2019. It is one of my favorite games. It will go on my 2021 accessible game list. No, this isn't the first time I played Path of Adventure. I've done a movie about Path of Adventure that Jordan Key approves of. It's fabulous. And I've also done a long series of one-shots for Path of Adventure. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.